57 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
This is Sebastian from Florida. Can you hear me?
Hi, Sebastian. How are you? What's on your mind?
I'm excellent. I wanted to ask you about a trend that I'm sure you're familiar with online of very reactionary politics that's I think kind of sprung out of the Gamergate nonsense and all this weird stuff happening around video game controversies and people like Sargon came out of that. I want to ask you, like, how do we fight against that?
How do we fight? Well,
I mean, we're doing it.
We're doing it. Watch the show. I think we do.
Yeah.
I think
besides you guys, because
paint a. What do you mean besides us? How do you as a person fight it?
Well, I wish there were more. I mean, like, you guys are doing a great job. I just wish there were more people like you.
Watch
there,
H Bomber Guy. H Bomber Guy
Yeah.
specifically is somebody who does a lot of good content on this stuff.
Also, ContraPoints often addresses the alt-right specifically, and she's actually won some people over back from being alt-right Pepes.
And I'm going to deal with some of this in my book.
My favorite is
Thanks for the call, man.
My favorite is Timba on Toast, but I think I understand people asking questions like this and like this about other topics. And the thing about it is, like, you can just start a YouTube channel. Yeah. Like, it's the problem. I mean, not everybody can, right? There's, like, obviously some like capital requirements. Like, you need to have equipment and things like that, and it does take time. But the barrier to entry is so low that you just kind of need to do it.
Absolutely.
Do you guys think, this is something I've been thinking about with regards to this topic, because we get these calls a lot, and I think it's kind of like a canary in the coal mine situation, because and that story about that girl Soph, like, there's going to be a generation that is just, like, purely brought up online, and it's going to cross over into the mainstream, and, like, mainstream media is not going to be able to, like, say, like, oh, it's just online or whatever. Right. Like, at some point, like, the culture at large is going to have to reckon with this, and I mean, I guess us planting seeds like now is really important, but I wonder how, mainstream media will react to it when it gets to that boiling point.
I don't think it's made for the mainstream. Like, like, I think as soon as it rears its head, people react against it, because I think this is actually a human nature thing. I think people don't actually like this.
No, I don't think they do. I also think it's a really tricky balancing act between, like, the president of the United States represents these things, and it's totally of American history. It's of the Republican Party and so on. And then at the same time, I also don't want to feed. I'm not going to. So it's like some people talk about this stuff in a way where I think they're both undermining the severity of the crisis in some ways, because it's literally. White supremacy, as an example, is represented at literally the center of American power and governance. And then at the same time, I agree with Matt. I think, like, the full, like, cosplay Nazi world, I think it's really toxic. I think it's really dangerous. I think it's because we're in this ecosystem, we need to address it. I think it has a limited, broad appeal. I do.